Welcome to This Week in East Brunswick. Today we celebrate the 50th anniversary of the Mid-Jersey Chinese School here in town with an evening of food and wonderful performances. We also have a look at the recent East Brunswick Business Alliances and Networking Breakfast held here at the East Brunswick Public Library. And we will stay at the library for a special exhibit brought to you by the New Jersey Antique Radio Club. Plus we have local author William Koch in studio to talk about his new book, Patriotic Passion. All this plus a few tips on how to keep your pet healthy. So stay with us.
Hi, it's Mayor David Stahl at Hammersholt. We're here to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the Mid-Jersey Chinese School. It's a wonderful event. As you can see, there's so many people attending tonight. We've had dignitaries from throughout the state, principals from the second principal of the school back all the way in the 1960s, and so much culture here tonight that's being celebrated. The Mid-Jersey School, like so many other schools that offer cultural activities for our children to learn about their heritage, have enriched East Brunswick so much. So it's a pleasure to be here tonight to celebrate the Chinese School's 50th anniversary. They've got a wonderful program right now. As you can see behind me, they're having some activities with a lovely dinner. Tonight there's going to be some performances I know that you're going to have an opportunity to watch. So come with me and enjoy the Mid-Jersey's Chinese School 50th anniversary. I understand your father was the original principal?
Yes. It started with a small group of Chinese families in East Brunswick, and we started by meeting in the basements of the individual people's homes. And I think when they were able to move to this East Brunswick school, and it was a very monumental change in what we could do.
In any organization, it's tough to get started. It must be great pride to you and your family to see the work of your father turn into a 50th anniversary.
Well, I think it's not the work of just my parents, but of all the parents, the teachers, the administration, and even the janitors in the schools that have really made it what it is today. And we really appreciate all the work that everybody has done to bring it to this point.
What do you think it means for a community to have such a school like this here in East Brunswick?
Oh, it means a whole lot. It means a whole lot. It means a whole lot. Just activities and then.
Do you think it's very important, again, for the young children, like my children's generation, your children's and children's generation, to continue to learn the culture of their home country?
Yeah, sure. And even nowadays, maybe Chinese are more popular, so probably everybody.
Well, today is we are trying to work together with all this local community and this, to develop this Chinese culture for all the communities and for all this the next generation of the Chinese American. And this school is for more than 50 years. 50 years today, and we hope we can get another 50 years, and so let us everybody can share this culture and the different culture and different language, and so work together for the communities. Yeah.
50 years ago, maybe we had a couple dozen families. Today, how many people are enrolled, and what's the total involvement of the community in your school?
Yeah, so far we have more than 200 families, and every year we have a different family from different non-Chinese families and also the local families, and so we have a big we have more than 200 right now, and it's getting bigger and bigger. Yeah.
And it's not just for children. Adults can take classes as well and get involved.
Yes, right. Yes, we also have an adult class, and also for the adult language and the culture class, like a Zumba and like a Chinese martial. So it's also welcome all this adult can join us. This is a non-profit organization, so everybody's welcome.
I think one of the unique things that's so special about your school is the language that's been approved by the Board of Education.
Right. This is it's a language improving, which is can help the this next generation to learn this different language. For instance, just like instead of just like French or Japanese, we can have another choice to learn Chinese. Yeah.
Right, and then by learning in your school, they'll also get credits at the high school.
That's correct. Yeah, we have another credit. So when you study in our school, and then you can do this the test, actual test, and once you pass the test, you can get us at least 5 credit or 10 credit as a second language in high school. So where our school is the first one get approval from this board of education.
And where do you think the school is going to grow? What avenues are you looking for in terms of changing what's going on here?
Well, this for the next generation, because most of the family, the parents, they don't speak Chinese anymore. So we hope we can, give an opportunity not for the kids, also for the parents. They can learn together. So just like so in the future we have. We will just talk to the local families and see what is the best way to do it to improve our education.
Growing up, I lived in a part of the country where there weren't very many Chinese people at all. And we had a Chinese school, but it was kind of a small one, met in the church basement a couple hours every Sunday. When we moved to East Brunswick, much to our surprise, we found Mid-Jersey Chinese School here. And I can't believe how much of an asset it is to the community. It's much bigger. It's one of the biggest Chinese schools I've ever seen. It's fairly well organized. My wife is on the PTO here, and the parents tend to get very involved. The main thing is that I'm second generation Chinese. My parents immigrated here, and we think it's important for our kids to maintain their culture and try to learn a little bit of the language along the way. So.
Does it help at home, to maintain the culture so the kids get some additional information here, and then you as parents can reinforce it at home?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, actually, this summer we went to China for a couple of weeks with my parents, and I think that without the Chinese school, my kids probably would not have appreciated the trip as much as they did.
The school really brings a very rich cultural diversity attention to not only the children that are of Chinese descent in our community, but it really enlightens the children during the regular school day. I mean, the Chinese community here, the volunteers come into our school, they share their culture with all our children, and we have really developed a very good relationship between the school and, of course, the Central Jersey School. They have been in our district, started only 2 classrooms over at Smith Elementary many years ago, about 5 decades ago, and they really take most of Churchill Junior High School. But in 2006, we really developed a very nice relationship with them in that the children that come here to learn Chinese, if they take the test, pass the world language test, they receive high school credits. So we've worked along with them to encourage their children to learn their language and be able to see some benefit to the school system as well. I think the community really embraces the diversity here, and it really works. And this school is one of the reasons why it was really the foundation to the development between us and the groups in town, because we long history with them. But I think that all our various cultures in town really do contribute to the education of all our kids, and it's been a true partnership.
It's Mayor David Stahl. I hope you, like me, enjoyed watching the fun activities up here as we celebrated Mid-Jersey's 50th anniversary. And for all our friends out there who are celebrating the Chinese New Year, Happy New Year.
You don't have to fight City Hall was the message to local business owners at an early morning networking breakfast held January 29th at the library. The event was intended to create better relationships between business and government and was sponsored by the Township and the East Brunswick Business Alliance, with catering by the Colonial Diner. Township officials fielded many questions about how to grease the wheels of government. On hand were construction official Ed Grabelny, Director of Planning and Engineering Greg Podkolsky, and Township Administrator James White.
I need some clarification on the sign ordinance. What is allowed and what is not? We don't allow anything. That's before, and people don't want to hear this, before you do anything, call us. It may seem innocuous to you, but you're probably not that lucky. So call us and we'll tell you what's allowed, what isn't allowed, ways to work with you. I mentioned my undergraduate degree was in psychology. Let me explain the psychology to you of a governmental official, or at least most of us. You know that old thing about it's easier to ask forgiveness than permission? Not with us. No, a lot easier the other way. You come in, you sit down with Ed, you sit down with Greg, me, and say, here's my problem. How do you think you can help me? man, we'll spend all the time in the world with you.
We're here today at the breakfast with the Mayor and Township Administration that's co-sponsored by the Township of East Brunswick and East Brunswick Business Alliance. And with me today is East Brunswick Township's Administrator, Mr. Jim White. Welcome.
Good morning.
Jim, business is always interested in working better with the township. Thank you for coming down and doing this event with us today. What are some of the things that business people need to know about the township, and how can we work better?
What they need to know is that government has this set of rules, and sometimes they seem strange to business people. But we really want to try to make it easy to come to East Brunswick and to stay here and thrive. And we need information from the business owners, Ken, because I'll be the first to admit government doesn't know what business always needs. And I'll tell you, one of my least favorite cliches that you hear is that you can't fight City Hall. Well, we don't want you to fight City Hall. We want you to come and work with us and make us understand your business needs so that we can figure out a plan to help you.
Jim, what are one of the biggest mistakes that businesses make in trying to get things done around town?
I think the business mistake that you can make is to assume you know the regulations and go ahead and build something or open up somewhere without first coming and speaking to the planners, the engineers, the zoning people, because they're willing to help you, and they'll go out of their way if you just come and meet with them ahead of time.
And if anybody has any questions about being able to, questions about signage or about ordinances or zoning, or any questions relating to their business, what's the best steps that they could take, and how can the township help them?
They can start by either contacting the mayor or myself, or if they want, go directly to the Planning and Engineering Office, and they'll guide you along the way.
Jim, you had spoken to a packed house this morning, and answered a number of questions over the hour that you addressed the group. And everybody was very interested in many of the things that you have to say. And I think it's an excellent beginning to establishing better relationships with the East Brunswick business community.
I thought it went very well. I really appreciate you having me. And it's these types of events that will set the stage for a better relationship moving forward.
I'm Dr. Ken Friedman for the East Brunswick Business Alliance, and This Week in East Brunswick, thanking you for tuning in and encouraging you to look for other events that are sponsored by the East Brunswick Business Alliance. Together, we can work with the township to be able to better serve the East Brunswick community. Thank you.
On display this month in the East Brunswick Library is an exhibit by the New Jersey Antique Radio Club on the history of radio. Members Ray Chase and Harry Clancer spoke with us about the exhibit.
Ray, tell us a little bit about the exhibit here.
The exhibit we've shown here, we're trying to show something about the history of radio, what happened when it became common in the home, and its influence that it had in the home up until, say, the 1960s or 70s. So we've selected samples from various eras, subject to space limitations, but we've tried to show radios that started with 1920 and up through the 1960s.
What would you say the influence of radio was in the home initially?
Well, prior to radio, the average person only got news from a newspaper, and of course you had to be able to read. But when radio came in, it became an entertainment and news center. Now people could just sit there in their home and listen to news, listen to weather reports, emergency broadcasts, and primarily entertainment and music. So it had a big influence.
Harry, what was the influence of this particular area on the development of radio?
Well, New Jersey is really the center of what was the largest development area of radio over the years, from New York and including New Jersey and in Philadelphia. In fact, two of the largest manufacturers of the 20s and 30s, Atwater, Ken, and Philco, were in Philadelphia, right on our southern border. New Jersey itself had, I think Ray at one count had something like 65 radio manufacturers in the 1920s. Also, some of the major inventors related to the early days, even before radio, including Samuel Morse, and during the time of radio, Alan Hazeltine, for example, were in New Jersey. So it was really, a hotbed of radio development during the introductory days of radio.
Plus many suppliers, vacuum tube manufacturers, hundreds of vacuum tube manufacturers scattered through Newark, and of course the major vacuum tube manufacturer was RCA in Harrison, New Jersey.
Is there a particular turning point in the development of radio that's illustrated by something in the case here?
There's quite a few, but probably 1920 was the first turning point, because radio existed from the 1900s up to 1920, but primarily point to point, wireless to ships at sea and whatever. But broadcasting started in 1920 from KDKA in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and then it was the 1920s was wild. It was all of a sudden radio took off. So 1920s, and we have some of the radios from the 20s. Thousands of manufacturers sprung up in garages all over the country.
Now, I remember the transistor radios. Can you say anything about those, Harry?
Well, first of all, the transistor was invented in New Jersey, at Murray Hill, New Jersey in 1948. And, it really formed is the foundation of all modern electronics. And we have a bit of our display that kind of points that out. If it were not for the invention of the transistor, as I said, in New Jersey, you wouldn't have modern electronics. You wouldn't have this handheld microphone. You wouldn't have this camera. So it really is, the major turning point as far as I'm concerned.
Mm-hmm. Ray, tell us about the New Jersey Antique Radio Club.
Well, we just celebrated our 20th anniversary, and we started kind of surreptitiously in Freehold, New Jersey. People got together. People who were interested in collecting, restoring, learning about early radio. We currently have about 200 members. We from all over the state and Pennsylvania and New York. We meet monthly, either at Princeton University or the InfoAge campus in Wall, New Jersey. We publish a monthly newsletter. We have usually 4 radio clinics where we help people repair radios annually. And we do displays and talks and whatever. We just like old radios.
Yeah, so tell me about that a little bit. What is it that fascinates you so about old radios?
Well, many of us grew up in that era. We listened to the radios. We got used to them. We liked them, and we liked the look of them. Many people now just like the look of them. Probably half our members are technically qualified, and the other half just like radios to listen to or look at. So it's like old cars. We like old radios.
Yeah, they're really works of art. Tell us about what you'll talk about at the talk on February 21st here at the library.
All right, we're going to, in addition to talking about the history of radio, we're going to talk a little bit more about how radio grew up in the state of New Jersey and the metropolitan areas of New York and Philadelphia. Many people don't know the rich history of the development of radio in this area, so we're going to talk a lot about that in addition to just talking about radios, and we will be actually broadcasting through radios during the talk.
And Harry, can you tell us how people can get more information about the club?
Well, we have a website, which is njarc.org, which is our primary website. And then we also, by the way, have a museum, Radio Technology Museum, at InfoAge in Wall Township, and the InfoAge website is infoage, infoage.org. And you can get information about us from either of those sources.
This is Barbara Reese reporting for This Week in East Brunswick. We're fortunate to be here today with William Koch, writer of Patriotic Passion, a collection of short stories and poems. Thank you so much for joining us here
Thank you, Barbara,
today.
for having me again. I thank East Brunswick TV for having me and giving me the opportunity to talk about Patriotic Passion.
Well, this is a very moving collection based on the life of your son and some of his experiences and your daughter. Perhaps for those who are not familiar with your story, you could give us a little background about them.
Corporal Koch, Stephen Koch, a member of the 82nd Airborne, based out of Fort Bragg, was killed in action in Afghanistan on March 3rd of 2008. My daughter, Lynn Koch, suffering from post-traumatic syndrome, left us on May 6th, 2010, and it's part of how we look at the Gold Star families being affected not only from troops sacrificing to defend freedom, paying the ultimate sacrifice, but also that trauma that hits the family, whether the member comes home or is wounded or is lost in action. It completely affects the whole family and devastates the families and the friends that are around.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of the poems focus on memories that you have of the kids growing up. And how has this helped you? How has writing helped you to deal with your grief?
Well, I wanted it to be more of a awareness for other people to have words to talk about their feelings, other Gold Star families or other families that have lost children at a young age. Anything that a life is lost out of the normal order of society is traumatic. So it's just giving people words to explain what they're feeling, or people that are not going through that, for them to understand why their friends are very sorrowful or in a lot of pain, a lot of agony, don't want to go to work, don't want to do things. That's the post-traumatic part of it. And I reflect back on the kids when they were little and as they are older, and their dedication or their caring about other people, which in our family became such a really our leading emotion, is to care for others and to take care of other people. And that's what the poems are about. From the first book, Casualties of War, continues on through Patriotic Passion. And the second book carries into a lot of tributes to the Airborne and the Army and other groups that help us, Hope for the Warriors, the Rutgers ROTC, the American Legion. The list is long and the list is short at the same time. You know, it's trying to get more people involved in all those different aspects of helping others and making more people aware of what we're going through and how we're trying to struggle through that too.
And you and your wife have been active with Hope for the Warriors and other activities in the community to raise awareness about the military.
Yes, we tried to do that. We've done our part as far as trying to get articles in the newspaper or stories about post-traumatic or the sacrifice that our troops make. We've worked a lot with Hope for the Warriors. We've attended a lot of their events. They're a very good organization where 95 to 97% of the money they raise does go directly to the wounded warriors and their families. So that's a big positive for our family to know that whatever we can add to them does go to the guys that are coming back that have had physical injuries, emotional injuries, or spiritual injuries, which are all unseen, some of those things, and make up that post-traumatic aspect of war and casualties of war, really.
And you deal with some serious topics, but in a poetic way. You also have a small essay at the end about a pill that you could take to understand what it's all about.
Yeah, the last part of the book is the Gold Star pill, and it was actually submitted as an editorial to try to awaken the community. And the editor wrote back to me, and rightfully so. He said it was too powerful for people, the normal person, to read. And my comment was then, well, they only have to read it, I have to live it. So I mean, I didn't understand it at the time, but I lived with it, and I put it in the second book as I went to Tate Publishing, and they thought it was a good idea to close the book with the the Gold Star pill, which is an experience of 3 or 4 weeks of, if you could take a pill, you would be in my shoes. And this is all the different aspects of the emotion that you go through from day 1 to day 30. And, you know, after you stop taking the pills, you return to your normal life, but you would see the effects of what you did in that month's time. So it is an eye-opening story, and a lot of people that have gotten the book already, it just really hit the shelves last week, but people that have had it already talk about, they read the last chapter first, and then they get an awakening to what the Gold Star families, and like I said, any families that have suffered that loss go through.
Well, again, we are sorry for your loss, and we thank you for writing this very meaningful book for us.
I thank you too,
and
Barbara.
very moving stories.
Thank you. I appreciate your time.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
This is Barbara Reese reporting for This Week in East Brunswick.
Hi, I'm Sydney Katrina for EBTV. I'm at the East Brunswick Public Library with Sarah and Ronnie to learn more about the new category on the Just for the Health of It website called Pet Health. How did the library become interested in providing health information?
Actually, the library received a grant from the National Library of Medicine to create a health portal for the community. And then as a part of that, we started seeing how the National Library of Medicine on Medline Plus included pet information. And so we decided to do that in our community portal. The health portal is located on the website. You can get to it directly from the library's website or go specifically to the health website, which is www.welllinks.org. And so you can just get to it on the internet. We have all sorts of information, and we're constantly adding more resources. Right now, you can find information on finding a veterinarian, how to cope with pet loss. We have information on pet health insurance and also general pet health resources that you can go to if your pet does have a problem, or if the veterinarian tells you about a problem, resources you could look up to help give you more information on it.
Why is pet health important to our own health and well-being?
Well, pets are part of our lives, and pets are important to the health of people around them. There have been studies that show dog owners will have lower heart rates and lower blood pressure. They even say things like if people have arthritis and they own a cat, when they see their cat do stretches, it sort of prompts them to stretch actually along with the animal. And pets are part of our families, so we care about them like we care about ourselves and our children and our families.
Do healthy pets make happy people?
I think so, absolutely. A pet will love you unconditionally, and any type of pet, I think, can bring joy and happiness to somebody and be a companion. They even say something as simple as owning a fish tank and being able to watch the fish can reduce stress and anxiety in people's lives, and that people who might feel depressed will be happy spending time on a pet or a companion that can help make them feel better about themselves.
Be sure to check out this great new source of information at www.welllinks.org under Pet Health to see what you can do to keep your pet healthy. For EBTV, I'm Sydney Katrina.